Hey guys, on today's podcast, you've literally been asking me to do this one for so long. So I'm so happy to finally say that we've got James Smith on, who is a best-selling author. He's actually got 2 best-selling books, Sunday Times bestsellers as well. This is the first time we've actually met, but I feel like I know him because we've got the same managers. We speak all the time. We are really, we've got very similar beliefs. He's very controversial and I completely understand that, but honestly, he's such a great guy and you're going to love this episode. We talk about relationships, traveling, following your dreams, but also like just giving you a kick up the arse, and really telling you like some really, really cool skills and really cool mindset tricks that are going to get you going. So you're going to love this episode. Make sure that you click the subscribe button and give us all a review. Let me and James know what you thought of this podcast. But honestly, you're going to love it. So get stuck in. Welcome to the podcast, James. How are you doing?
Very well.
How was training?
Yeah, good. Sweaty.
Yeah.
Strangled out a few blokes.
How did you do it?
Try and train every day.
Yeah, I went boxing last night.
The thing is, right, boxing, all your time, you're not actually punching people.
Oh, come on, mug off something else that I do.
No, I'm just saying.
Mug off another way that I train. Let's go, boxing shit.
No, I'm just saying, it's always pads, it's always bags. There's nothing wrong with that. But do you know what I missed in the lockdown? Was the touch of another man.
That's weird.
Like, not in a gay way, right? When you're a kid, you got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I got a sister.
Play fights as a kid?
Well, she'd just beat the shit out of me most of the time.
But it's fun. And when you watch kids having fights, they're not trying to hurt each other. They're just trying to,
I don't agree with that.
They're trying to determine.
Definitely trying to hurt me.
They're trying to assert dominance and find out who's the more dominant out of the two.
Yeah.
Like, when I see kids and like puppies and stuff like that play fighting, I miss that.
Yeah.
Going to the gym, going for a run, it wasn't the same.
I don't know.
So spending my morning hugging, strangling, tripping up and beating
You want a
up
hug?
men,
I'll give you a hug.
it's not the same.
Not the same? You want it from a sweaty geezer?
You don't touch me like sweaty men do.
Oh, babe.
I'm joking.
No, honestly, they keep trying to get me to spar, but I just, it's not for me.
It's not nice being punched.
No, I don't want to be hit.
And like, I did a bit of boxing in Sydney. When you get hit in the mouth, right? You've got nice teeth as well.
This is what I'm saying. And I like my nose. I don't want to have a nose job ever.
No.
I like it. I don't really want to be affected by this. And I also don't want the pain inflicted on me.
And what you'll find is when you start getting better, if you land a good shot on someone, they take it personally and they lamp you back.
And it all turns into a big competition, obviously, because it is a competitive sport. But nah, you've done competitions with what you do though, right?
With jiu-jitsu, yeah.
How high have you got up?
I competed in Australia. I've competed here. I won my first comp at white belt. So that's the first belt. But it's mad, right? You can have so many different parts of your life together. When I went to comp, shitting my pants.
Yeah.
But like your mind works in overdrive. Like
mainly because you're obviously going to fight as well. Like it's not,
And in your mind, you're there like, this guy could be a killer.
Yeah.
I remember my first comp, the guy taped his fingers. And I was like, he must be good.
Yeah.
And you're there like, I bet this guy's fucking sick.
Everything's going through your mind as to why they're doing certain things.
But the worst thing is, over the last couple of years, like when you compete in a weight category.
Yeah.
So then you have to make weight.
I was literally just thinking that. I was going to ask you that.
So then I make weight, I get in there, and then they call in your weight division into a pen. So you're all in this little like, you weigh in, then you walk down this little channel and you're kept in like a metal fenced pen before you're called out to fight. And you don't know when you're going to fight. They just call you out.
To wind you up even more before you go out there.
I saw my bracket. I knew who I was up against. I Googled him. I knew what he looks like. He stood right next to me. I'm looking at him. I'm going to tap you out, you little fucking...
Giving him the eye.
He takes his headphones off. James, I love your podcasts. I'm like, you
bastard. I can't do that anymore. Yeah.
Getting in my head.
Yeah.
Beat me. Smashed me.
How did you find making weight? Have you gone up or down? I think I heard your podcast recently and you've gone down before and you didn't like it. You didn't feel as good.
Went down. So at the moment, today I'm like 96 kilograms when I wake up. And that's with an empty bladder first thing before I had a drink. So it's quite heavy. I got down to 89. Yeah. So I was 7 kg lighter. I was lean.
Yeah.
But I was gassed. I went there 3 minutes into my first round. I was like, you know, that meme, I got nothing left.
Yeah.
That was me.
I know what you mean. Even when I'm like 2 kilos lighter, I just feel so shit. So shit. You posted about the bodybuilding thing yesterday as well, actually, didn't you?
And do you know what? It got so much shit, and this is the funny thing, right?
I was reading it. I commented on it, and someone went into me, how about you? You're bloody anorexic anyway. All your clients are anorexic. I was like, I was putting some clap emojis on the post, mate.
They've reacted that way because I've hit a nerve.
Yeah, because it's true.
If they truly disagreed with what I'd said, they wouldn't have reacted that way. They would, like with anti-vaxxers, you don't get into a debate with them. You're like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But I've obviously touched a nerve with some insecurity they have. And also, they've become so frustrated, they've missed the point where I've said, I have the utmost respect for the top 1 to 2%.
Yeah.
Lane Norton, Holly Baxter, Hattie Boydell, Lauren Simpson.
Yeah, they're cool. Lauren's cool.
And these guys are athletes. And when I train with them, it's like training with athletes. But so many people, when they get into this physique competition sphere, they're progressively just getting worse.
Yeah, I've spoke to so many people on here that have done it, and it's evident because they're saying to me they'd never do it again, and they'd never even advise someone to ever do it again. So it's speaking for itself, really. When
I think a few people have got their wires crossed as well. Bodybuilding isn't
just going into a random fitness show.
No, it's about wanting to build more muscle. And if a dude says I want bigger arms, or a chick says I want bigger glutes, technically they want to participate in bodybuilding, but you have to manage the language around that. And if you think about it, that's a lot of what I do with my clients. I bodybuild them, but I'll never say that. But the question, if you read it like properly, was like, in the process around competing, that's what I'm going to pop at. And I sat back and I was like, oh, a lot of people have got their wires crossed. But then I also thought, this is a perfect sycophantic post, which is where you create like an issue for personal gain. So like you set fire to something to like, and I was like, people that love it sharing it, people that hate it sharing it. Woke up this morning, my followers bumped up. I was like,
right, let's talk about this then. Controversial posts. Obviously, it's going to happen. Like people, and sometimes I post things I know it's true and I know it's right, and there's idiots on there, and I'm just let them comment, just let them, and even sometimes reply to them, just let them do it, because you've got to post controversial things. Not everyone's going to always agree on everything, and I think it's part of our job as well. You kind of got to.
So for me as well, I'm picking a fight with people who are never going to join my plan.
Exactly.
And as a byproduct, people who are on the fence of joining might get that step one bit closer.
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that.
So the people I pick fights with are people I don't want as clients. Keto zealots. And to a point, like sensitive vegans. I've got a lot of vegans in my plan. But I couldn't tell you how many because they don't fucking tell me.
Yeah, they just they keep it to themselves, yeah.
Then we got these like fitness types. And again, even the PTs out of the people that really hated that post, the ones that haven't got their tops on in their profile picture, they're also the PTs that will never come to my business talks. They don't respect me. And the funny thing was that
they've got an issue with you. Yeah.
And it's definitely, and you will have experienced this as well, an element of people being bitter with your success.
100%.
And they go, let's say they look at you, oh, she can't do an Olympic snatch with her body weight.
Exactly, yeah.
Why are people getting advice from her? They think the same to me. And in some of the posts that were criticizing me, they were like, James is an expert when it comes to earning money, but he's well off here. And I was like, if you look closer, you will see that the thing you're disagreeing with.
The reason I'm good at my job is because I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
and the reason that they can't even see why I'm pissing them off. And they don't realize that these bodybuilders that are like, this guy's an idiot. Someone reposted my post saying this guy's an idiot. Even if 1,000 of their followers agreed, but 50 disagreed.
Yeah.
Got them in the honey trap now.
Yeah, you got them 50. That's why I'm good at it, mate.
So the controversial posts, even if, let's say, I lost 1,000 followers, if I brought a percentage of normal people closer to doing business with me and I've pushed away a percentage of people that never do business further from me, that's a net win.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
The net total will be a slight loss.
I've obviously learned a lot from your page. I feel like I know you, and this is literally the first time I've met you, so smashing it on there. Well done. But obviously, I would never look at someone's page and try to be bitter, even if you're way more educated than me. And I'm quite happy to admit that. I've said that to Dira, and me and Dira both laughed about it. But I think as well, people are actually quite scared as well that you're obviously quite knowledgeable and you're quite open about that and you share all that. And I think it's bitter, but it's also, they don't want to look stupid. And I feel they feel quite stupid sometimes maybe when you're posting, because maybe they're posting opposite things. And they obviously see that you've got a big following, and that's probably why it makes them feel like that.
Yeah, I think generally they feel a lot of emotions from the post. The reason I've written it is to get emotions. And for a lot of people, they're going to sit back and feel seen. That's a powerful emotion. Because if someone, same with the both of us, if someone joins our plan, there's the part of your brain that from a financial standpoint, it's like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid. But also, if they do time with me, they're going to leave with a little bit less money, but a better person.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, that's a big percentage of it. But another point, they're just trying to vent emotions I don't think they've processed yet.
Yeah.
they're not bringing a valid argument to the table. Some people went, I see why he's written this, because his demographic are not bodybuilders. They're people just getting into fitness. And so many other people, the perfect argument for this is...
Was they even following you? People that was slagging it off?
Some still do. I used to have so much respect for you. Still follow me, you can't.
Yeah, still do.
Still do, yeah. But like, so many personal trainers assume that their clients are them. We've seen this. And I loved in talks saying to PTs, you're not your client. And I
learned that along the way.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
You always think that someone's thinking the same way as you. When I was younger, I always used to think, I was quite big on, you're just being lazy, or you just can't do that. And I think you always just think everyone's got the same mindset as you, especially when you first start out. And I think when you're a personal trainer, you always think, they can go do that competition. They think the same way that I do. They want to eat the same way that I do. They're going to wake up as motivated as I am. And I completely agree. Like, your client isn't you. Like, everyone's so different and they're all on their own journey.
Another thing that took me probably years to realize was it's something called the hot cold empathy gap. When you're angry, it's really hard to imagine what it's like to be calm. When you're hot, it's really hard to imagine what it's like to be cold. But when you have a good life and you like your life, it's hard to imagine someone that doesn't.
Yeah.
And people seem to think there's this like line in the sand where you're like either depressed or not depressed. But a lot of people just don't really like their life and they don't know it.
Don't have much going on.
Yeah, and they might work in a job that doesn't excite them, in a toxic relationship they don't want to leave because of the amount of time they've already invested into the toxic relationship. But I've been with them 8 years.
That's something that I've never struggled with, to be fair. I'm quite cut off. Yeah. So I never understand when people do that. So you're right.
We're going to get an interesting conversation in a second.
Cool.
But then if someone...
I'll let you kick it off.
If someone is in that position of not enjoying their life that much, they've only got food.
Yeah.
And Netflix and comfy sofa. So before, where I agree with you, I used to be like, you don't want it.
Yeah.
You're not motivated enough.
Yeah.
Truth is, when we say to them, calorie deficit, we're saying, hey, do less of the only thing that makes you happy.
Yeah, take that one thing away from you. Yeah.
And then suddenly they lose a pound over 3 days and they're like, but I hate my life even more.
Yeah, because that was the one thing that was keeping me like happy, and the comfort was coming from food. Because I think a lot of people do turn to food for comfort. So when people are told, or they think they are told that you can't eat certain things, or you can't go out drinking with your friends, or you can't do that. It's not saying you have to do that. You just have to maybe rein it in a little bit, and people just can't get their heads around that.
It's getting the right mix of things that give you pleasure and the right mix of things that make you happy. Getting on to this point, this is an interesting point. So Shona made me read a book called Attached.
I listened to your podcast with her.
So
I listened to the first 40 minutes and she told you to read it. So you read it?
Read it.
Okay, cool.
3 types. And some people have now said to me, that book's been criticized over not having enough of like a nuanced approach to there being other categories. But in essence, it says you're either secure, avoidant, or anxious. So the dating pool doesn't have many secure people in it because they're all in relationships.
Right, okay.
Secure people are, and do you know what, I've recognized that I'm not secure in relationships, right?
That is not me.
I'm avoidant.
Yeah. Okay, so what does, give me the breakdown. What's the categories?
So let's say we remove secure.
Yeah.
They're just not mental.
Yeah.
So I'm avoidant. If I start chatting to someone else who's avoidant, it will fizzle out very soon.
But what does being avoidant mean in this book?
Very simply, I consider intimacy to be giving up my freedoms.
Right, okay. But I reckon I don't at the start, and then I start thinking that.
So this is, and then anxious people are kind of what it says on the tin. But let's say, for instance, you're anxious, I'm avoidant. I actually think you might be avoidant as well.
Right, okay.
For some reason, you blow up at me for something. There's something called protesting behavior. So it's nothing to do with why we're arguing. You're just protesting and making a big deal out of something because you want a reaction from me.
Right.
Now, because I'm avoidant, I see that protesting behavior and I swerve. I'm not dealing with this.
Oh, yes, I'll swerve. Yeah.
But then you think, he doesn't like me. He doesn't want to be with me. There's someone else, because that's where your anxious brain works. So then the more you try and create this big issue from trying to get a reaction from me, the more I shut down and start avoiding you and wanting my own space. Yeah. And then the relationship implodes.
I actually spoke to a woman called Michelle Ellman who's got a book on boundaries. And she always says, don't jump to conclusions when you're in relationships and stuff. Just because you're not feeling, your emotions are not my emotions. You can't jump to conclusions. Just because you might be avoidant doesn't then mean, jump to conclusion. Because that's when you're going to cause either a bigger argument or cause a stir. So I learned a lot from her. You should listen to that podcast.
I will. For me, it was interesting to learn my own habits because when it explained what I was like as an avoider, I was like, oh my God.
Have you changed?
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to yet. But then...
No one on Hinge?
Nah. Dating, I'll give up. I'm just going to become a serial masturbator.
James.
Safer.
Jesus Christ.
Everyone masturbates.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
I actually spoke to a sex therapist.
Yeah. It just goes on and it's taboo. And
people don't talk about it, but it's something that happens all the time. And, you know, you met me 2 years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, you're disgusting. What the fuck? I don't ever do that. But, you know.
Everyone does. And it's one
in
of those
a room
things.
full of people here and I'm not going red.
But it's one of those things that people are like, oh, you know, if you're not masturbating, then you got an issue. Because it's like especially if you're in 20s and 30s, you've probably got an underlying health issue if you're not fancying it.
Like, we all don't have time to be going out and meeting people all the time.
But this is another thing. This is the interesting part of the conversation that I'd like to have with you is being avoidant and then having a successful business.
Yeah.
I think can make you super avoidant because before I can see that I've always been an actual avoidant relationship kind of person. And only since reading the books, I realized my relationships where my girlfriend didn't live near me worked out better.
Right, okay.
I need my own space.
Yeah.
And I've never realized this.
How far are we talking?
Like, so
across the world?
one was still at university when I moved home, so it was like 2 hours. Another one was like north of London, 2 hours away. So then I'd see them like once a weekend.
Yeah.
They'd either come to me or I'd go to them.
Yeah.
Then I dated a girl in Norway who lived in Norway.
Right.
And I would see her probably like 2-3 times a month.
Yeah.
It's like a year and a half. It's probably the longest relationship I've had.
Yeah.
And
because you set that time, right? And then you still know your work priorities and you can still work around it. And you don't feel like you're being drawn away from your job.
And also, I never felt like my freedoms were being impinged because I had so much time to myself.
Yeah.
So since reading this book, I've realized I like my own space a lot more than I realized. But then I feel like I'm also quite polite. So if a girl wants to stay with me.
I was literally just about to say this. Yeah.
If I looked at my last two relationships that I've had in Sydney, the girl was staying around like 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
And I think that makes me feel suffocated. So then I wake up.
But then you don't say anything about it.
I didn't communicate.
This is what I do.
So then I palm them in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, cool, have a nice day at work. See you, babe. And I just go do my thing. They then feel unloved. And then there's protesting behavior. Protesting behavior happens. I go, do you know what? I didn't fucking want to put up with this shit.
Yeah. Didn't even want you there.
Yeah. Why don't you sort? No, but not even that. I'll just, when they blow up, I'm like, I haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah.
Why the fuck? Whereas instead I should be saying, why are you doing this? Like, oh, you didn't want to have breakfast with me. That, do you know what?
Things to do, yeah.
That's been a big thing for me.
Yes, but do you know what? It's literally like you're talking to me now because I'll always be like, they're like, oh, can I see you again tonight? And I don't want to be like, no, I need to do things. Because they'll be like, what are you doing then? Just having an early night and just waking up in the morning and doing my work.
And they're like, what have I done wrong?
Yeah.
Is there someone else?
Yeah, but this is what pushes me away because then all of a sudden I'll think in my head, I can't do this anymore. I need my own space. And then as you just said, we do. We like our own space more than we say that we do. And we say that we don't. And we always say, oh, it'd be nice to be with someone. But then you think you do need your own. If you're like that, there's no point in trying to change that.
Exactly.
Like, there's no point in trying to change that who you are to have a successful relationship. I mean, it's that you can better yourself and you can, if you really do love someone, then you can make changes and stuff. But there's no point trying to change your whole persona because it's not going to work.
Again, being in the industry and like the career that we both have as well, I feel that you have this extra tier of extra avoidant where if someone is rubbing you the wrong way, it's so easy to tell them to fuck off because you're like, I could spend tonight on my phone and make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I make money by having an early night and being a good person in the morning. Do you know what I mean? So I don't need you there. It's keeping me up 2 more hours, making me watch something I don't want to watch.
and even just like draining your mental energy.
Yeah.
And then when it blows up, you don't want to have breakfast with me, babe, I want to fucking work. I don't feel appreciated in this relationship. And then suddenly I've been drawn away from my profitable tasks of the day to deal with someone's, protesting behavior. And it all boils down to a lack of communication. But with every burnt relationship, part of me is like programmed, like seeing partners as time wasters.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thank you. And then it puts you in like a bad headspace for the next one because you just think, God, am I going to waste my time again? And I actually had a therapist, so I've not seen her for like 4 weeks. But she was like, you need to stop going into things like going on dates and stuff and seeing them as a waste of time. So I'd go on this date and I'd think, God, you're not for me, and I'd see it as like a waste of time. But you have sort of just done something for yourself. But then I've got this real big energy in my head, and I go into relationships thinking, is this going to be a waste of time? Am I wasting my time here? I could be doing better things, as you say, like even if it's just working, and people might think that's a bit sad, but for me, it's my passion. So I'd rather be working and actually doing something for myself and excelling in my business than wasting time on someone that I don't think is going to go anywhere.
then also your business is always going to be there for you. Your business isn't going to let you down. Your business isn't going to fucking annoy you at 10 a.m. when you should be doing other stuff. But then we move into another kind of territory. So it sounds to me like you could be avoidant as well.
Yeah.
And having these kind of structures in place make it so easy for us to be avoidant. It's so easy to just piss off on holiday. Like when it was saying, are you avoidant? It was like, you like holidaying on your own? Yes.
Yeah.
You're like, so all of these things, I was like, fuck.
When you got the go to the spa on your own. Got the just drive there on my own.
And the fact we've both got 800,000 friends on our phone that we've never met yet.
Yeah, exactly. I can occupy myself. Don't worry. Yeah.
And it becomes kind of toxic in a way because even story questions.
It's I was literally just thinking that before you said it. I thought, if I'm bored, we just do that for a couple of hours.
And you can help people's problems, communicate with people, and rather than being in your DMs and messaging people back once at a time, you can cater to a big audience, show yourself as like a leader in your space. But then I had a psychedelic trip earlier on this year in Sydney.
So you done this with Durham, right?
No comment. Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did several. I did one in December, did LSD, and that's what made me give up drinking for 4 months.
Right, okay. Oh my God, so I actually want to talk to you about this. We'll talk about it after, but the whole thing that you said the other day about drinking's the worst thing you can...
everything.
The worst drug, yeah.
And even now I've got a real bad relationship.
Yeah, I don't really drink.
But the thing is, I'm socially kind of drawn into it. And then,
that's what I think. I don't want to cut myself off and say that I'm never drinking again. Because if I fancy having one, I will. But I genuinely don't enjoy it. I think I completely agree with you. It makes people angry. It makes people emotional. It makes their feelings heightened. It makes their emotions heightened. It makes you just a completely different person. And as well, it makes you unproductive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the 4 months off was amazing. But I slipped back into old habits. And like even socially, this is why I can't wait to get out of the UK. Everything in the UK is around alcohol.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. What do you want to do? Go out for brunch? Go out for dinner? Everything's, but you got to drink. And if you say that you're not drinking, you get looked at like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah. And in Sydney as well, like if I wanted to go on a date with someone, I'd be like, let's go for a swim in the sea. Cool.
Oh God.
Every time. No, but like, so.
Can't swim.
You can't?
I can, but not very well.
Well, you don't have to go in that deep. But like.
I have a panic attack.
So there was one girl that I'd been chatting to. She's like an athlete as well. So I was like, let's see this rig in person. Yeah. So she met me like on a street near my house. We walked like a mile down to the sea. And all I said was go for a swim. She was like, yeah, cool. Went for a swim, got on really well. Then after that point, usually that's like my thing is 15-minute date. That's all I want.
You said, yeah. Then if you like them, all right, let's get a little bit of lunch.
I said to her, let's get some brunch then. She was like, all right. So we go barefoot to a little like cafe.
Yeah.
Sat there, had some eggs and stuff. So I've still got sandy feet.
I mean, you can literally, everyone shut your eyes and picture the scene. Like it's
on
quite
Bondi
beautiful,
Beach.
right?
Yeah, it's nice. And then at the end of it, we got a bus up the hill and cool, see you later. No booze, wholesome time, swam in the sea, massive fucking waves, getting wiped out. Or alternatively,
and every girl's idea of fun, getting slapped in the face of a wave, getting rolled under and come out him covered in blood.
Yeah, but it's fun.
I'm really like imagining myself drowning now.
Rather than getting fucking smashed on a date and like and then having that awkward.
So boring.
So we
can we go?
Do you kiss on the first date? like all this awkward shit. And then
did you kiss under the sea?
Nah, not an underwater.
Did you have a little mermaid?
Might have shared a towel when we got out of the sea. You know what I'm saying? And then second, like even say someone lives in like a different part of Sydney, you're like, oh, you live in Coogee, why don't we do the coastal, which is an hour and a half? I think
going for walks and stuff, yeah.
Best communication happens when you're on the move. So like, I can't remember who said it, but someone said no good idea was thought of not walking. So I think meetings should happen on the move. Podcasts, if it was able to, I'd be like, walking podcasts would be sick. I also think people have some of the most intimate conversations in the car.
Yeah.
Where you're not facing each other.
Yeah.
So like I try and reenact something that is active. And then you can have a bit of banter. You can like barge into them. You can put your arm around them, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whereas
playful.
Yeah, it can feel very interview-esque. Having a date in like a setting where there's people around you. There's constant.
Everyone's watching you. People are watching. People are already judging you, and then you're judging other people.
Do you want another drink?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to have one.
Yeah.
Oh, I've just got to go for a piss.
Like, yeah, I actually met up with my friend in Manchester, David. And we was talking about this as well, and he doesn't drink, and we didn't drink, and we was there for like 4 or 5 hours, and just having such good friendly conversation with each other. And it's just like, if you're actually around like-minded people, I think a lot of people get into relationships as well because of the drink. And I think because your whole relationship is around the drink and you're only that fun person, you only get on when you're out drinking. And then when they end up moving in together, that's when it all ends up going to shit because you realise you actually haven't got that much in common and all you look forward to is going out on the weekend and get smashed together.
There's another interesting part of the book that resonated with me that was, if you take an anxious and avoidant person and put them together, they're not right for each other, but there's often fireworks in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it feels so right.
Yeah.
And then a few months in, you're like, oh, we're not compatible. Because you keep having these like protesting behavior, they overreach, you pull away, whatever.
Yeah.
When you meet a secure person, someone that doesn't give you shit all the time, you can actually feel quite flat in the first few weeks.
Yeah.
There aren't fireworks. And then if I look at some of my mates that are in really successful relationships, they didn't meet and they're like, oh my God, this person. They were like, oh yeah, this is all right. And then after 2-3 months, they're like, oh, we've actually got something really good. So for me, it really kind of changed my utopian desire of like.
What the hell does that mean?
So like utopian would be like dream, ideal.
Right, okay, yeah.
Like the utopian version. Then dystopia would be the opposite, the worst.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So like everyone would have a utopian idealism of like, we bump into each other on the bus.
Fall in love.
Fall in love.
Great. Never lose the honeymoon stage.
Get married in 6 months. Everyone tells us we shouldn't. We're together for 60 years. That's the utopian. Dystopian's like, got divorced 3 days later. Or like, so for me, like reading that book helped me understand that, you know, maybe what I was expecting from a relationship might not be wrong. And actually, now what I would really want is probably just someone to be really compatible with.
Exactly. And just be able to want the same things and just wake up in the morning. I think for me, and my counsellor actually, my therapist actually said this to me. She was like, what do you actually want? And I didn't actually mention to have things in common. And for me, that's the biggest thing, to actually enjoy the same sort of things, to want to do the same sort of things. That is a big thing. And I think people forget about that a lot. They always make out or they try be this person that they think the other person wants to be. And they always try in the first stages of dating going, yeah, I'll do that. Or why are you saying that you enjoy doing things that you don't enjoy doing? Because it's all going to come out in the long run. You don't need to lie about the person that you are because you're not going to ever find someone that you're compatible with doing that. Do you know what I mean?
It's also interesting. I only realised this the other day. I haven't had a girlfriend in the UK since 2014.
Why do you think that is?
I don't want to be here for that. I just don't like, for me, when I have a relationship.
So you see everything as, what's the point?
Yeah. When I'm in Australia, not only am I a lot happier there, I drink a lot less.
Why
there.
are you closed off to the idea that they might want to move with you?
I don't want to move them.
But what if they want to?
I can't even get myself there.
Yeah, true.
I've been paying tax there for 4 years.
Yeah.
I got a tax bill the other day, $126,000. So cheers.
Nice.
Cheers. Can I live there? So I'm a tax resident, but not a resident.
Yeah.
And I want to go there because even though I'm bunching together quite a lot of relationships into one, alarm goes off 6 a.m. Me and the girl I'm seeing get up straight to the sea. Don't talk. It's fucking first thing. I shower before I go in the sea as well. I need to brush my teeth in the shower, whatever. Go down there, jump in the sea. It's really cold. Get out, go get a coffee. 7 a.m. Bang in the shower. Go on about your day.
Yeah.
I want to do that forever. Forever.
So what what if Australia can't happen?
Then I'll try and merge that into America.
Somewhere else, yeah.
Like, I never realised how much I like living near the sea.
Yeah. And I think it's a different way of life. So if it makes you happy, then you need to go where it makes you happy.
I come back to London. I'm more inclined to drink. Everyone's getting the bags in all the time because London nightlife's not that great.
Bags meaning the white stuff, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm open to say that. And like,
yeah.
I feel like Monday to Friday in London is quite mundane.
It's so like dragging. Everyone sees it as like, obviously not for us because we love what we're doing and our jobs are very active, but I think in London it's very Monday shit, Tuesday shit, Wednesday's even shitter, Thursday's getting better. Yeah. And then obviously it's Thirsty Thursdays. Everyone goes out on a Thursday, woo, and by Sunday you're feeling like a bag of crap again. And it's so true.
The craziest thing as well is this, right? I'm sure that me and you have had some staggering pay slips, right? And you're there on a Wednesday in London like,
I've never been the person to go out and blow it on a night out. Never. But for me, it's the thing of, I completely agree with you because what the fuck do you do?
So many people listening to this will be thinking, if I had more money, I'd be better. And this is a trap I think a lot of people fall into.
Yeah, no way.
They go, oh, well, I'm currently a manager. If I get promoted in 2 years and then I get to director, manager or managing director level in 7 years, I'll be earning 100K.
I'll be happier. I'll spend my weekends on bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then 4 years later, they're earning more and they're still, and is the craziest thing is also, I think that the ecosystem of the UK, especially London, I said this maybe 2-3 years ago on a podcast, people get on the tube, horrible crammed sardines, they work all day, they have all this craziness in their unenjoyable work life so they can escape and go to Europe. Europe is almost part of the ecosystem that allows people to have that balance. With Europe being turned away, having all this politics put around, I think it's really messed up that balance in people's ability to enjoy life in the UK.
Yeah.
Because
you're trapped.
Yeah, I feel trapped right now.
Yeah.
Like, I could go away, but I've got events. I don't, this whole traffic light system.
And what, I mean, you can go to fucking Cotswolds, you can go up there, but it's the same shit you can do here. And we are so limited to things we can do in the UK, because you say, like, there's not just a beach that you can go walk down, or there's not, like, near me, there's not even that many walking paths or running paths that I can do. Near you, it's probably even worse. I mean, I know you've got Richmond Park, but what else can you do? Go out for coffee, go out for breakfast, go out for lunch, or go out for dinner.
John, I'm very grateful for living in Richmond, actually. And about twice a week, I go for a run around the park. And I'm not even much of a runner.
You do cardio?
Oh, yeah. I just got to be ready for anything in case the vegans come for me. But like, that's my little 45 minutes of like, oh, this is nice.
It feels unreal, don't it? It feels unreal.
Have you been to Australia?
No. I really want to go as well, but I think it's one of them ones that, it's funny actually you say this, that my mum always laughs at me. I always said when I was younger, I'm going to move to Australia. I've never been in my life. I've not even been to Bali, right? I just feel like it's a bit of me. Like, you know, like the lifestyle. But then recently I've been thinking, it's like fucking other side of the world, and you put yourself off of it and you put yourself off doing things. Obviously I'm not, but at the minute as well, you can't even get in there, which makes things harder. But it's just, you've got to try
years ago, right? I flew back from Berlin on New Year's Day. Like,
when did you first go to Australia?
2016.
Okay, cool.
I had to check out the hotel at 10. Flight wasn't until 1. Then it was delayed. I got in at like 5-6 p.m. to Heathrow. Then I was like on one of those runways. It was really far. Moral story, it took me a whole day to get back from Berlin. Australia is also just a day.
I've had that. I've had that from Austria, so I know what you mean.
It's just one day. And when you fly back from Australia, you actually arrive like 2 hours after you left because of the time difference.
Yeah.
And it's not that far. It is just one day.
And it is just an airplane.
It's just an airplane.
It can take you that long to get home from Manchester.
Exactly. Honestly, like you get stuck in traffic on the M25 or a lorry turns over. Like 21 hours, it's not about, if you go to Perth, it's direct 17-hour flight. But when I didn't realize what I was getting into when I went there, I actually had a psychedelic trip when I was July, August. I went to Croatia, 2016 festival, did some psychedelics. I literally never wanted to go in my life. Came out the other side, I was like, I'm going else.
Yeah.
I had such a strong introspective conversation with myself.
Okay.
Being like, James, why haven't you gone there? That's really the hub of the fitness scene. Why are you working in Bracknell? It's time to move on from Bracknell, was what I was saying to myself. You can either go to London or pick another city. I was like, I'm going to Sydney. So actually, I knew more so Australia. So I said to my dad, I was like, Dad, I'm thinking of going to Australia. He was like, yeah, I've always imagined you somewhere like that. Read a Tim Ferriss book, went one way. And I just backpacking at 27. How old are you?
25 on Saturday.
25, right? I'm 27. So, and at the time, I didn't think I was too old.
Not anymore, by the way, guys. He's older.
I'm 32. But I flew into Cairns, backpacking town. I just spent a month and a half traveling south. Working online. No one knew what I did. Told a few people. Some days do nothing. Some days do other stuff. It was the best thing I've ever done.
Would you say it helped your business?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any time to spend in the business because I had no clients. I spent it all on the business, developing socials, whatever. And then I remember when I flew into Cairns, it was like a Tuesday evening and there were loads of families like out on the grass, like having picnics. It's like all the way down the coast of Australia, there are barbecues that are built into the ground with mains gas. So you and your mates can just be like, let's go buy a load of meat, go down the beach, watch sunset and use the barbecues.
Yeah, that's
Everyone
cool.
cleans them after as well.
That's cool, yeah.
Like if you had that in the UK, somebody like,
as well, I don't think people respect the country. I love England, but there's so many disrespectful people here. People are throwing litter out there, cars. I guess you don't get that in Australia.
A lot less. And
I mean, like people are just like it's just a shithole. Like it's turning into a shithole. And even though I love London and I would much rather be living in London than in Essex where I am, but it's just easier for me to be in Essex. There are so many negatives to it. Like people are miserable, people are moody, and a lot of the time you can go. I mean, I've had a weekend in London this weekend, and every single person I met was so happy and they were so like helpful, and they all like was just in such a good mood. But you don't get that a lot. Londoners are miserable.
And you get like a super, like when spring, summer comes around, it's like 6 weeks is amazing.
6 weeks of happiness.
But what I love about Sydney, and again, it's like I'm trying to sell Australia, in London, you have
Give me a green card.
You have like the centre. And then as you move out towards the M25, you get like cheaper prices. In Sydney, the city's really far off to the right. So there's a really finite amount of gap between the city and the beach. It's called the eastern suburbs. And that's where all the wealth is. So living there is expensive, but there's like no crime. Like it's just people that work hard, play hard. It's just an amazing part of the world. I go to the beach. We leave our phones on top of our clothes on the beach. Like we don't even cover them up half the time. You go swimming for an hour, you come back, it's still there. No one's robbing you on Bondi. Or maybe someone's like, I've been robbed.
Yeah.
And just everything about it is so nice. It's clean. And just even a lot of the time for about 2 years, me and my housemates lived with just a key and our shoe outside the door. We never worried about it. And then if people come around, we're like, the key's in the shoe. And never worrying about stuff like that. It just feels like a very wholesome place. And after I went there, I was like, I feel like just burrowing in and getting ready to die over the next 40 years.
Yeah.
I was like, I could just do this every day for 40 years.
Yeah, just like you felt you was at home.
Yeah, and when I get back to the UK, I'm like, it's so productive, it's good for podcasts, meeting people. But
that's what I was just about to say to you, because obviously you've just done a massive event in the UK. And even though a lot of your followers are now obviously based in Australia as well, a lot of your followers are in the UK. What's the percentage? Do you know?
It's about 70, 80%, I think.
So 70 is the UK?
Yeah, most of it is the UK.
And now events are picking back up and stuff like that. How would it work, do you think?
So I would love to, I'll give you an accurate insight here.
So I know mine is literally 80, 90% in the UK.
Where's the rest of yours?
Like random places, like
Serbia.
Honestly, like China, Israel, Australia, America,
some of countries.
Dubai.
54% actually, 17% Australia. 7%.
I was going to say, I thought you would have more from more diverse.
Aussie, States, Island. And then so the majority of it is here, but if it was for me, I would still come home May till September every year.
Yeah, because it's when the winter, isn't it?
Yeah. But the winter there is nice.
Yeah.
Like blue skies every day. By the middle of the day, you're in a t-shirt. And then it gets cold either side. But like, even if I was to have a family in Oz, I'd be like, see ya, go back to the UK for 3 months. And then I'd be like, hey, come out and see me for a few weeks if you want. Like, flight business, don't worry, babe. Like, come out. You go back to you go back to Oz now. Yeah, you go back to Oz now. Have time with my friends and then just nip out at the end of summer.
Yeah.
That would be the dream for me.
What's the biggest event that you've done?
We did London.
Is that the one that you just done?
Yeah, 1,500 people. So that's pretty big.
That's very cool.
And then we got Manchester coming up, 1,600. So most of our events.
What arena is that?
We got Brixton Academy in Birmingham. Then we've got, I'm not even sure what it is, but it's a big old.
Was you really nervous when you done your first one?
I get nervous for small crowds.
Yeah.
Small crowds make me more nervous than big ones.
Same.
Same.
It's more intimate. You don't know what they're going to throw at
you. And also, Darren noticed the thing when I'm on a big crowd, I don't actually look at anyone the whole talk. He goes, you look into nothing. I don't know how I do it. I just don't look at anyone. So although I know they're there, it never dawns on me. Similar to, when you have like a big following, you never think you have a big following. Yeah,
you don't walk down the street thinking that everyone's looking at you or everyone's thinking about you or people are even going to come up and talk to you. I mean, sometimes you can sense it, but you don't walk around thinking like that. And I think a lot of people do think that you walk around thinking like that. The world's bigger than me. Do you know what I mean? I'm very aware of that. And you don't walk around knowing or thinking that everyone's following you or you've got a big following. It sort of just is what it is.
We did our first event in Cardiff in 2018. It's like 80 people, like in a small little venue, and didn't know what we were doing, kind of just turned up. It came off the back of the idea of...
Didn't Darren open it for you, Luke said?
I opened for Darren.
Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah. The other way around.
So yeah, I'll just go out and chat. I'll call you down in 10 minutes. Like 30 seconds later, Darren. Because I've been doing Facebook Q&As for so long. Facebook used to be the daddy platform. Yeah. It still is, actually.
You was doing it like every day, like posting videos, weren't you?
Yeah, but I didn't have a camera or any equipment or a laptop till I had 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
So I just went live all the time.
Yeah.
So I used to just rant live.
That's where it gets the best though. People love, do you know what? I said this to Darren, I was like, yeah, it's all good having a videographer and stuff, but on my personal page, me videoing it myself works so much better. People just like feeling like they're in the room with you and feeling like it's authentic. If I ever post too much like professional content, they fucking hate it on my page. They don't feel like they're with me.
I got some of the most amazing pics in a shoot the other day, and they never bang.
Oh no, never. What is that about? You look so nice. You look cool. Like
and then I have
a
gay Twitter page saying that I'm in the wank bank. I post that.
We'll get a picture later. I'll make your Instagram up. Yeah.
And it's like that. There was that kind of authentic going live. And Luke, who you know, was like, we're going to get you into events. And then we did 2-3 tours, which no one knows about because not many people came. Big up the people that did. So like, our
real G's.
Yeah, our big like London event in 2018 was like 400-500 people.
Yeah,
which is sick.
Still quite a lot, yeah.
And then now the numbers are staggering. Now it's like 1,000, 1,200, 1,100, 1,400.
Yeah,
and it's like so amazing to do those numbers. But Luke and we always had these like little goals. And one of them, when we first started working together, I was like, yeah, we'll go on Good Morning Britain. We'll be in the green room. You'll be having a pastry. I'll be going out, setting the lights to the world. And then within 6 months,
it happened. Yeah,
got the phone call. You're on Good Morning Britain. I was like, Luke, it's the dream. He's like, it's no fucking pastries in here though. And
he's so funny.
We keep bantering. We're going to sell out the O2 Arena.
You've just got to make big moves. Like you've just got to make big moves. I mean, when he said to me that he was going to book the XL, I was like, what the fuck? Like this is so much pressure. And I was like, Luke, it's not done. It's not sold out yet. He was like, Courtney, it's illegal right now. Like you're not even allowed to be at the event right now. Chill out. You've done over half of the tickets. And I was like, I don't care. Like I've sold 1 hour. I wanted to sell 2. And he was like, no, just relax, calm down. Because I feel like when you set yourself, it's a big thing, the XL, but you're sort of setting yourself up to put pressure on yourself.
And also though, do you not find that you've got to establish yourself in that space. Because one part of your business is doing so well, you expect it to go everywhere else. It's like you could have a CEO.
You just never know.
You could have a CEO of a business come train with you. They're like, I want to know everything about lifting next week. They're like, fuck you. You may be dominating a business as CEO. Yeah. Don't come in my fucking...
You need to work for it. Yeah.
So with these events, you need to build a reputation. You need people to have good experiences. You also need, let's say you do 50% capacity. You need them to come.
And you need to make it a good experience for them.
You need to make sure they come back with a friend.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time people try to go too big and they think, I said this to Luke as well, I'm not worried, obviously like we want to earn money and stuff, but I'm not worried about earning loads of money at these things because I don't want people to come and be like, that was just a money making scheme and they have a shit time and we was joking and they're like fucking 50 meters away from you and they can't see anything, they can't hear anything and their experience is just rubbish and they walk out halfway through. You want them people that are there. We had enough money doing other things that we do. Do you know what I mean? We
lost money on our first 3 years of touring.
Yeah.
I never really cared about it.
Yeah.
And now, this is the funny thing. This year I was like, we're going to make sick money. And we're at the Roundhouse and Luke was like, you think this was fucking cheap, do you? It's a Roundhouse. He goes, those chairs cost us $9,000, James.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
$9,000 on fucking chairs.
Yeah. You thought you made loads of money? You didn't.
So funnily enough, we made just a little bit more with 1,500 people than we did the night before with 400. Because we went to a small theatre in Exeter. Doesn't cost a lot.
And the chairs didn't cost anything.
The chairs didn't cost fucking $9,000. Coffee and tea didn't cost
anything. Yeah, it was all complimentary.
But like even now, as long as you can see those parts of your business. I remember doing seminars as a PT. I'd go into local offices and I'd be like, look, it's a free seminar. There were PTs in my gym, look, you can charge for that. I do the free seminar at the end.
I've done so much for free. It's so important.
4 people come up. Oh, how much charge for PT? Listen, I don't talk prices in it. Come book in for a consult.
Come book in, yeah. So when you do your talks, you do business seminars and you also do ones that are just for PTs, right?
So the book touring events, the ones that are going on now. Yeah. So these, it's not just me reading the book. If anything, I've taken inspiration from, I'll wait till the book's released. Then I wait what feedback where people have gone, this fucking helped me. This helped me break up my boyfriend. This changed my life. This helped me to quit my job. I take those and I put them in a more fun, talky way of doing it. So it's a mixture of stand up and taking those points to people.
Stand up.
It's people laugh.
Yeah.
It's fucking funny.
Yeah. You're funny, yeah.
You're going to come to one.
Okay, cool, yeah. Well, you told us 2 last minute last time. You told me an hour before, so. Georgia was like, Amazon Echo's on the offer. And I was like, I don't give a fuck, it's an hour before.
We'll come to another one.
We'll come.
Come Manchester, innit?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So that's like that. Durin's is stand-up. Durin has a 15-minute.
Can you see how shocked I am? I'm not joking.
But he's good.
No, I'm joking. I can see it. Yeah.
The funniest thing is our friends come along.
Yeah.
Because your friends are your worst fans.
Oh yeah, 100%. You're like, that wasn't funny.
Your friends, but your friends that support you, they're like, let's say you get stopped for a selfie in front of your old school Essex friends. And they're like, isn't that fucking weird?
Yeah. Or they make you feel so uncomfortable in front of the other person. If you wasn't there, I wouldn't be feeling like that. I would have been having a chat with them. Stop telling me to move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your friends are like your worst fans, but when the friends come to our events, they're like, oh shit.
He's actually quite cool.
Then the PT events, I literally get a run PTs and just pull their pants down on how shit their business acumen is. Like, I know because I was once where they were sat, attending these talks on my own, not knowing how much I should charge an hour, not knowing how to run a business.
Yeah.
I never saw being a PT as a business. I saw it as trading my time and expertise for cash.
And I don't know about you, but I never saw being a PT as my final thing. I always see it, even when I started it, as a stepping stone. It wasn't ever something that I knew that I was going to be doing full-time PT forever.
For me, I thought I did.
Really?
But my dream was, I'm going to get paid £100 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to train people from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Maybe I'll even jump in on their sessions. Won't even have to train otherwise. Yeah.
And then that's it. I'll leave at 1 p.m. I'll be done for the day. £600 a day. What's that? 200 grand a year? Done.
Yeah.
That was me done. That was like everything
I
wanted to get out of training. And then I just got carried away on the way here. I never thought I'd have a nap.
No.
Never thought I'd go online.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, it can just change.
It's crazy. But do you ever feel like it's very difficult for life design to quite quantify what you're doing? Like, human brains aren't designed for this.
What do you mean?
The amount of people that know you, that interact with you, that bump into you, that everything about it, it's so bizarre.
Oh, it's weird. Yeah.
And do you ever feel that the more you're growing and putting yourself out there, you are creating an irreversible effect that benefits you massively?
Yeah.
But can also have the potential to trip you up. And I know that you had some issues this week with your Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is an anxiety that you carry around.
Oh, 100%. That's been playing on my mind for weeks. And I feel like when you address it and you just, for me, I know it's weird, but I have to address things. Like, Luke was even like to me, look, take a step back, think about it. But I'd rather just address it because I don't want to ever be like on edge or, as you say, anxious about something. If you address it and you just admit what you've done wrong and you admit like things have happened, you can move forward from it. But if you're always worrying about it, for me, I'm not good at worrying. I'd rather just heads on, what I'm thinking first I want to do is the right thing for me to do.
But again, the world is dynamic and so are humans. Like, a month ago, I was a different version of myself to today.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah.
We're in this ever morphing kind of version of who we are, and we shouldn't be scrutinized for previous actions. Even if something you did was inappropriate. I remember an episode of Little Britain where there's a Chinese guy at a check-in desk, and David Williams, one of the most
Little Britain was the worst for it.
And he's like, don't worry, I speak Chinese. He's like, how are, where is your passport? And I was like, whoa. I was like, if that was out now, you're racist, you're this, you're
Honestly,
that.
Little Britain is terrible for it, yeah.
But these people aren't facing scrutiny.
No.
They're not people jumping out going, David Williams, you're a disgrace, all of these things. Because at the time it was acceptable. At the time it was what normal was. Some of my Facebook statuses from 10 years ago where I'm like, what's the difference between a Ferrari and a Boner? I don't have a Ferrari. Like, it was funny then. Like, and if people are going back to try and scrutinize you from a different time when you're a different version of yourself, I think they have a mental problem.
And times have changed so much.
And I don't think people should be scrutinized.
No, I don't either.
For that. Like, then people are, well, what is acceptable?
It's like the whole cancel culture, right?
How old are you when you sent that tweet?
17, 16.
How many people have got their head screwed on at fucking 17?
Exactly.
And here's another really pungent topic. Aren't you so glad you didn't experience the success you have now at 17?
Oh, 100%. Because obviously I was quite a vocal person. I was in the height of my eating disorder. There was so much going wrong in my life and I was so young. And you know what's actually quite scary is there's so many people that are experiencing these high followers at such a young age, and they're being chucked in Love Island, or they're being like, everyone's goal these days, like when they're young, is to be a fucking influencer. Like, nothing else. Like, they just want to go on there and start taking pictures. And they're putting themselves under pressure so much and under the limelight so much at such an early age that it's so, like, it's crazy. Like,
you need some mental resilience.
Yeah.
Like, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, these guys in the high horse. Like, no. There's a lot of stress that comes with being well known in your field.
Yeah.
Because people are going to hate you because you've done well.
Yeah.
People are going to hate you because they're bitter.
Yeah.
People are going to hate you because they're actually your biggest fans.
Yeah.
The weirdest thing is, I know that people that are looking to trip me up and cancel me watch every live.
I've got this one girl who I've restricted. I haven't blocked her. I've restricted her. Every single day, morning, she'll send me a vile message. I don't even open it anymore. She'll send me a vile message. She'll comment on all my things. She'll tag me in, like Lauren Simpson. She'll tag me in her videos going, this is a real trainer. She'll tag me in other people's, which I just comment and I like their stuff. She goes at me every day, and I haven't even blocked her. So I think, let you carry on. Just think you can keep talking to me. But she doesn't even follow me. And I just think you are my biggest fan. And without sounding like big-headed or anything like that, but you actually must have an obsession with looking at my stuff and trying to drag me down. There's no other reason why you'd be doing it.
And I can't ever put myself in the shoes of people doing that.
No, because I've never been like it myself.
Waking up and doing it. But like, it's so crazy. I often genuinely think if there's two kind of trails of thought. One, I'm glad I'm not more successful. Because if someone was to tenfold our income, it would be the undoing of you. I don't think I'd be able to I'd have an existential crisis. But then alternatively, I'm so glad that my social media blew up for me when I was like 27, 28.
Yeah.
So glad I wasn't 21, 22.
See, I was. I had like 250,000 since I was like 20, 21. I've always had quite a big following. Obviously, through lockdown, it got a lot bigger. But I've always had quite a big following. And it come with, obviously, I used to fucking really over-edit my pictures. I used to do like, the bum videos where the thing was down there. So people always go to me, oh, you look shit in person. I used to get horrible people talking to me. Made me grow as a person. Obviously, made me realise like what I want out of life and like made me learn a lot. But from such a young age, it's definitely built me a really strong backbone and it's made me who I am. But it could have also sent me the other way. And it nearly did. Because I was going through this shit time just before lockdown. And I think lockdown actually made me the best person that I could have ever been. And it's crazy how like that affected me in that way. But yeah.
Lockdown was like the best thing that happened to Darren. And I think a lot of people are quite grateful for it. For me, so I was like, in lockdown at first, I was fucking hating it because I like my freedom. So like,
you like just being able to go out for a walk and
like a clean girlfriend.
Yeah,
like the whole time I couldn't do what I wanted to do. But it's crazy that you say like you were so young when all this happens. Like you nearly went the other way. But I think one of the best things about it is having what Joe Rogan calls "fuck you money."
Yeah,
because when you can establish yourself a certain amount of income, saying no to things is the most liberating thing.
Yeah.
People are like, oh.
I used to say, yes, you would have fucking hated me. I used to promote skinny teas. I used to do everything, right? I honestly would have fucking said that I was taking laxatives for a score. Anything for a pound note, honestly, when I was doing that, because I just see it as I had to. I lost my self-respect that much on like doing promo things for Instagram and stuff like that. It just got to a point where I was just saying yes to things I didn't even believe in, things that now I'd look at and think, oh, what the fuck? But
do you think you might have underestimated the amount of career longevity you had?
100%. And that, if I carried on doing that, that could have also, it was just tarnishing my career, making me not being taken seriously.
They're going to tell you off for doing that.
Why?
Because it goes to the microphone.
Sorry. Very, very passionate. But it was just tarnishing me. It was making me look a lot thicker than I was. It was making me not look like a professional in my field. People wasn't taking me seriously. And I'm glad that I obviously noticed that. And I knew that I could admit that and like come around that. And I knew a way, like a plan to get out of it. And I always knew that it wasn't for me. But I think a lot of people, they don't see the bigger picture.
I feel like I'm turning the interview around on you now.
Yeah, I know.
I remember sitting down with my accountants a few years ago and they said every single person in our shoes has like a hockey stick trajectory of success, but at some point it's going to stop.
I've always had this worry in my head. I've always been like this since I was a little girl.
Like soon enough, your relevance is going to decline. So is mine.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about that?
Fine, because I sort of have accepted that my whole life. But you've also got to know like a sort of plan, like what is your life without it? And I think for me, I've got other things that I would want to be doing and I've got a life without it. Like, even though my job is my passion and it's my career, like having a following isn't the end of the world to me. Like, it's obviously amazing. I love helping people. I love being around people, but I also love lots of other things in life. Like, I love going out doing things, family, like, and I've got a lot of other interests that I could be doing. So for me, I'm prepared for it. So I know it's going to happen. What about you?
Yeah, and this is why people that don't do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu struggle to understand why people love it so much.
Yeah.
I have a passion project that I've got until I can't move anymore. Like, I'm never going to, you don't like fully qualify, like, well done, see you later.
Yeah.
Like, it's never ending. And for me to have something so different to my work has been like amazing. And honestly, when that like hockey stick or whatever they called it diminishes, I've always got that.
Yeah.
And my mental health from that has always been in such a better place because I know that I can always go back to that. If I earn 10% what I do now, no one ever asks for selfies again. No one comes to talks. I can still go do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I can still spend a couple of my hours
Still
of
go
my
for a
day
dip
do
in the
that.
pool.
If I'm living in Australia, I go do swim. I can even teach classes for free a couple of times a day. Like, so many people, I'm glad your answer was your answer, because so many people attach themselves to what they do and just that.
And they see that as, what's the words for it? They attach themselves and they see their job as them and not them as being, their job as being part of them. They see the job as being all of them.
Like professional athletes.
Yeah.
And when professional athletes' careers up,
in
England don't pick them anymore. Boom, depression, existential crisis.
We were talking about this yesterday, actually, in the Olympics. Yeah.
And it must be, you need to make sure, and some people do this in relationships as well. If they're with someone for so long,
they give them everything. They don't see their life without them. Yeah.
And when
do you
the
know
other
what? I've got a
person
friend
leaves,
that's in it.
they give up they feel like they've had their backbone snatched.
Yeah.
Because they attach too much of who they are to what they do.
100%. And I think, that is so strong in relationships, because you also lose who you are, I think, a lot of the time. And that's maybe why we're the way that we are, because we're so aware of that. And we're so aware of us not wanting that to happen to us, that we are quite, off put.
It's an interesting one. It's super dysfunctional. Like, it's a tough one, because one of the psychedelic trips I had was looking at my life as like a spider diagram, where you have your finances, your business, social media, but then you have your relationships, your intimate relationships, downtime, all these things. I realized you can boom so much in certain parts of your life, but be really inadequate in others. And it's only when I took psychedelics. Have you ever taken psychedelics before?
I've took mushrooms in Amsterdam, but it's not really the same thing, is it?
Yeah. Did you do it like partying?
Well, no, I done it when I was literally with an ex-fellow when I was like really young, actually, to be fair. And I actually had to sober myself up quite quick, because I thought he was going to end up jumping in the lake. So probably not the same sort of thing as you. Maybe I need to do it properly, but
we had like
my name's Courtney and I've took mushrooms.
we had like a shaman, our mate, who did a guided meditation. So we took these magic mushroom chocolates, amazing chocolates.
All right, my one's tasted like bark.
Yeah, minging.
Yeah, disgusting.
Then we all sat around in his meditation room and did a guided meditation. So he was like, guys, close your eyes, relax. And then he's like, relax your hands, your feet, let your shoulders drop. And then we start coming up on the mushrooms during the meditation. So when he said, open your eyes, I was tripping. It's like ecstasy stuff. Then we went for a walk and we sat on like the edge of a cliff in Bondi over the sea.
Clever.
Blue sky. Because you're still compass mentis, you're still there, like coordinated.
Yeah.
I see whales coming out the water. There are snorkelers going down, like swimming with like dolphin, and there's dolphins, there's turtles, all of this. So I'm in a really nice area. But like with that spider diagram, it's so easy to distract yourself with the part of your life that's going on. It's not that you ignore the other side. It's just never prevalent in your internal dialogue. When I took psychedelics, it kind of were like, let's put money and stuff to the side. Let's put your gold Rolex away for a second.
Yeah.
Now let's bring up these issues and let's just think about them for 5 hours.
Yeah.
And that to me was amazing, because I almost need to start planning that, so that, like you say, if the income, the relevance, everything goes away, that you still have those other areas.
So what would you say you was lacking in?
Probably intimate relationships. Like, I'm 32. If I want to be with someone for a couple of years before we have kids, I'm pushing it.
Pop that baby out now.
Yeah, exactly. So like,
yeah.
I'd kind of just been suppressing that with, you have 1,500 people come see you at a talk. It's very easy to forget about.
Yeah, and it's very easy to think, oh, well, I might not have that, but I've got that. I know exactly what you're saying, so I do it the same. At least then I've got them to compensate, yeah.
Then one day I'll be sat home playing Xbox. I'll be like, I'm feeling a bit lonely. Let's go buy an AP.
Yeah. So like, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So like, it's very easy to mask those things and to just cover them up. So it was to think about those, and it's just about life design. That is it. And I think that people's success in life can be their undoing if they don't remain conscious of those things.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what I think a lot of those Love Island people get wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
They're like, give me money, fame, happiness, and a blue tick, and I'll be happy.
And then it all goes to shit.
Because
they haven't got no purpose behind it. And it was,
one of the lads, Nathan, who I'm actually friends with in Sydney, he messaged me like a year before I met him, and he'd been on Love Island.
Okay.
And he was like, mate, my followers go down every day. I go, of course they do. You went
this is what mine was doing though, when I was posting all that sort of stuff. That was going down. And I got so like bad in myself. I was like getting, and as you say, what am I going to do to compensate? Used to get loads of fillers in my face, used to go out, like try and impress people all the time, used to do stupid things like just go shopping and try to be flash, and was just so flat, like I was completely different to who I am. I'm still a little bit flash, but
take the girl out of Essex.
Still a little bit flash. I'm not from Essex. I'm still a little bit flash, but that was all that. Stop looking at my watch.
Can I have a look? No, you need to take it off. So I love watches. I love girls that wear boys' watches as well.
It's pretty cool. But yeah, and I was just focusing on that, and I got myself into such a position, and then my followers were going down and down. So the thing that I was doing for my job, I was fucking always stressing, going, what am I going to do next? I mean, I even looked into different career paths. Like, it's not set, by the way, the time's not set. Yeah, I don't wear it every day. He's looking at it like, why is it not ticking? It's not set.
Interestingly enough, I've become obsessed with watches. The Daytona, I think, is an amazing watch for a girl because I think it's quite small for how busy it is.
It is. And the other ones look huge on my wrists.
Well done with
this
that.
One doesn't. Thanks.
Great work. And the Daytona and the Yachtmaster have got like curved edges to them, which I think is like a bit more of a feminine kind of watch feel to it. Whereas the GMT and the Sub and the Deep Sea have got like harsh edges.
They're huge as well.
I nearly wore mine today just so we could be like.
Yeah, we should have been watch buds. You're not stunting. We'll edit one on.
Yeah, just put it on. Against the camera. But yeah, just because I had training, just didn't want to leave it in my gym bag.
Well,
it's not Bondi.
No, you'll get robbed out here. We're in Fulham.
But it's fun to be flashed, and I never fully appreciate the.
Do you know what though? Like you'll notice I never really get it in pictures or anything like that because I don't want to be flashed for the reasons that people think. Like it's just nice to like appreciate things you've worked for, and I used to do it for the complete wrong reasons. So buy myself like a nice pair of shoes just to be flash and to make people think that was cool. Whereas now I'm a bit like on edge about. We spoke about this the other day, like on edge about like showing like even it in your pictures and stuff, but. Why not? I'm not doing it for the reason that I used to be doing it for, and I know that in my head.
The guys in Dubai where they're like they do poses where they're like
and they're
doing things to show it.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I'm almost self-conscious of it. 2 years ago, I started my business partner, James. He had a Rolex. I was like, let me try that on. I was like, what a waste of fucking money.
I literally said the same thing. I was like, I'll buy a little one, but I'm never going to buy the one that I want because it's just a waste of money. I'd rather spend it on different things.
I was like, this is dead. I was like, who pays £5,000 for this? And then we did one challenge in the JSA. We got a really good amount of people doing it. I said, if we get 2,500 people in this challenge, I'll buy one. So then I spent the next year trying to get one. Went into every Rolex. I was like, you got any men's watches? They're like, no. I was like, what the fuck? You guys charge $5,000 a watch. I can't even get one. So then a year went by and I finally saw one in a Rolex in Abu Dhabi and I bought it. And wearing it on my wrist, I was like, this is quite nice.
Yeah, the joy that it gives you just for your own personal joy.
No one else needs to know about it. But then having that physical contact with my wrist made me like...
In other ways that you're normally used to.
Yeah. But I came home and my mum and dad were like, oh, it's really nice. And then my mum's like, can I try it on? And I was like, yeah. And then watching my mum try it on, I was like, oh, that feels quite nice actually. They see you do that. And a parent seeing you have a nice watch. My dad works in the city for like 50 years. So he knows a Rolex and an AP, even though he's never had one himself.
Yeah, same as my mum,
My mum and dad are not flash at all. But being able to come home and them seeing their son or like me with my little nephew and like having a nice watch on, I was like, oh, this is actually quite respectable. And the thing is, when you buy it, they don't really go down in value.
No. And there's no, like, if you can do it, why should you not? Why should you try hide the fact that you've done that for yourself as well? And I think it is so like people like look down on people because they're buying things for themselves, but you're doing it for yourself. Like
you drive a brand new car out of a dealership, you lose 20 grand.
Exactly. Yeah.
I bought a Rolex for an extortionate amount of money and it's gone up by 2 grand. I have no intention of selling it, but you're literally just parking money on your wrist, which you can take off at any point. And it's weird that people stigmatize it so much opposed to a car where you're just paying VAT.
Yeah.
And that feeling during, I was trying to convince him to get one. I was like, just do it. Because you can never really afford one.
Yeah.
You've actually just got to buy it. And then every time you look at it, you go, fuck, I best get out of bed.
Yeah, yeah. Look at it and think, fucking hell, if I want another one of these, or if I want to carry on with this life, if I don't have to sell it, I don't want to have to sell this.
And this is it. And the first time I flew business class, I couldn't afford it. And how old were you when you first flew business or first class?
Oh, about 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
You sat there.
23, yeah.
In a plane.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I was just like, give me all the snacks. I was like, I don't even like champagne. I was like, let's drink all the champagne. Like you lap it up and you're looking around and you're thinking, God, this is like a different world, isn't it?
And you're like, I don't belong here.
I was annoying though, because you have to go back down.
I'm not going back down.
I remember the next time I didn't fly business. I think it was Thailand. I flew one way and then I couldn't afford it on the way back. I was on the way back. I was thinking, fuck, I'm going to have to work harder.
You have to work harder. And some people think, again, business, I was like, I'd rather have the money when I land.
Yeah.
But then sitting there for like 21 hours on the way to Sydney, I was like looking at this and I thought to myself, if I want this to continue, I have to become a different person.
Exactly, yeah. I have to sort my shit out.
And it's one of the most amazing moments. And I would say to people, like, Even if there are so many people that have got 20 grand and their default is get a house.
Yeah.
For so many of them.
Spend all their money. Do you know what? Me and Georgia was having this conversation. So her and Aaron was saving for their house and it was just making them miserable. That money was their money. They was like going into fucking Sainsbury's and not buying things because they was trying to save this thing. And I said to them, just don't do it. So they're not saving for the house anymore. They're just enjoying themselves. They're young and using that money for other things that make them like enjoying things, like setting goals and making them work harder. And they're actually going to focus on just setting other goals and getting the money elsewhere. Like it's no rush. I think a lot of people just rush into thinking, I need to buy a house or I need a deposit or I need to do this now. And you're actually taking away the whole like benefits and fun of life.
I was 27, first time I flew first class. I'd only had my own business online for a year. So I love saying to people, you're only a year away from potentially sitting in part of a plane where you have a shower and a chef.
Yeah.
But if every part of your money you put towards scraping together for a house, it's going to kill your creativity.
Yeah.
And I know it's not great financial advice, but I'd say to someone like, if you've got 5, 10, 15 grand and you're in a job you don't like, go on holiday somewhere business class.
Yeah.
Go traveling for a bit, whatever it is. Buy a fucking ridiculous watch because you get the feel for it and you'll be like, I'm not working a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I'm not working for the man. There's this really corrupt system in which self-employed people not only get the ability to exceed normal earnings, but you then get to put everything against your business. I could not imagine a life where I'd have to pay tax on, I'd have to pay income tax.
It's
then
great, isn't it?
have my money that I need to spend, then have to buy a flight out of that.
It's so great. What was that Rolex for? Prize. Oh my God, hope tax man's not listening to this.
But again, like, it's one of those things where when you have your own business and you start to be savvy with tax, things like that, so many people, it breaks me that they're just working towards someone else's goals.
I mean, not everyone can be self-employed, and I don't want anyone to think that we are saying that, but
you know what? I think they can.
Yeah, it depends on the career, I think, the career path.
Dog walking.
Yeah. Pack it in. Not everyone wants to be a dog walker though.
Yeah, but if people do, then someone else, like, someone might be into jewelry. Someone might love watches.
Yeah.
And work in recruitment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, you know everything about watches.
You can always find something. Yeah, you can always find a different job to pursue and you can always find a different career path that's going to make you happier.
And even people that are working jobs they don't like, why not start a hustle on the side? Even if it breaks even, you can start using that business to offset your costs.
I used to buy bandage dresses from eBay. So, like, you know, the girls that used to wear the really tight, like, bandage dresses, I used to buy them for like £8. I used to sell them on Depop for 45. And I used to earn, like, when I was like 17, I used to earn like £500-600 a week doing that. Yeah.
So anyone can be self-employed. You just got to keep an ear to the market. But if you work a 9 to 5, and this isn't shitting on people that work a 9 to 5, if you just work for someone else, which inevitably that's what you're doing, in 9 to 5, and also you are giving up the most amount of your life for the least amount of money. That's how businesses work. You're not going to have this creative side of you. It's the 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss that really got my brain juices working. Before that, I was kind of dead to the idea. I actually met a guy in Croatia in a minibus on the way to the waterfalls. And he was working. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm an accountant. I was like, right.
I used to be an accountant. It's hell.
But he was working from a minibus on the way to the waterfall. And I was like, you're working remote? And this American guy turned to me and he goes, read the 4-Hour Work Week. And I was like, all right. Went home, read it. My brain was like,
is it good? Do I need to read it?
Yeah. Some of it's a bit faffy American bullshit, but there was one part in it where I think he talks about buying a t-shirt from France. And in New York, he got 3 compliments in a day from strangers. So he created an online store without having stock of the t-shirts, put it up for sale, then waited till people got to the checkout basket to make sure it was actually going to sell, then tell them it was out of stock.
Yeah.
He then put money on an advert, looked how many people went through to the checkout, saw whether or not it was a viable business venture. It was. So you then ordered in the t-shirts in bulk and then sold them online.
It's cool, isn't it? Yeah.
And for every $100 he was putting on adverts, he was making $1,000 of sales from t-shirts. So, like, so many people are numb to that.
It's whether you want to actually have the ideas and actually if you want to, think. I don't think a lot of people are quite shut off to thinking outside the box.
Society breeds people to not be creative.
Yeah.
It's like, no, shut the fuck up, go do your job. There was a lad at my old rugby club who used to import, he would see trends, selfie sticks, when they started being a trend, got a shipping container of them. He then had to wait 8 weeks for it to ship across. And it was like the peak height of selfie sticks just as his container arrived. Made extortionate markups on it. And when I said to him, I was like, nice car, what'd you do? He's like, I just buy stuff from China and sell it. I was like, what? He's like, have you got a selfie stick? I was like, no. He's like, I'll bring one.
Yeah, you'll get a selfie stick now, yeah.
But there are so many people, like you say, with the dress, things like that.
It's just thinking, like, you've just got to think business savvy. But do you think everyone can think business savvy?
I think human beings are so much more intelligent than we think.
Yeah. I think they're people are quite open to quickly shutting themselves off and saying, no, I'm not business savvy. I've not got a creative mindset. I don't want to worry myself.
If you had seen me at 25, 26, even when I was still writing daily emails, you would have been like, this guy's just dreaming. This guy's just mental. I always had the capacity for it. And like, even what we could find, let's think about societal losers by society. Oh, he's just fucking smokes weed and plays Xbox all day. Let's go watch him in a game. Let's see how good he is.
Yeah.
Someone playing Call of Duty Warzone, playing with the boys, been top Warzone finisher. Guy's in the top 100,000 players in the world. That's amazing. And then if you were to watch him, his tactics, his ploys while he's playing video games, you'd be like, this guy's a fucking problem solver.
Yeah,
if you just
he's genius. Yeah.
If you gave him like a different world to work in, then even Paul Mort, who...
he's lovely, isn't he?
He hired a lad out of a warehouse where he was doing manual... Pretty sure he's like pulling a sheet and pressing it, pressing it. Gave him a proper job, taught him how to sell on the phone. Guy now works on commission. Like, he was programmed to just pull a metal sheet, press a button, pull a metal sheet, press a button. He was doing the same thing over and over every day.
Yeah.
You get the same person and teach them how to do a sales call. If they're programmed and able to do the same thing every day, they can make a lot of money. Than if they start selling their own product or whatever it is. And this is why I think so many personal trainers are like burnt into this four walls mentality.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little secret. So we got IFS coming up end of August. Got hundreds of PTs coming to the point that, you know, it's probably going to be the biggest PT business event that's ever happened in the UK. One guy was like, yeah, I'm just like not making much money. I charge like £30 for PT. No one's paying me anything. I just came up with an idea on the phone. I was like,
I used to charge 35.
Yeah, but everyone did. I said to him, why don't you for £15 a week, get people to send you their MyFitnessPal at the end of every day. And if they haven't, you remind them to. You can become an accountability coach for £15 a week. Offer them their money back if they don't lose weight in the first month. He was like, mate, that's genius. I went, I've just fucking made this up. Like, he was like, I didn't think about that. I'm like, go call all your clients, go call your old clients, go call everyone that said no to you that couldn't afford you. I said to him, when people said they couldn't afford your PT, did you sell them something cheaper? He was like, no.
Yeah. So what I done is I done all my ebooks, my online plans and stuff like that. I used to do it with like self-timer and take the thing. On my first ebook, I had like 200 grand. I was like 20. And it cost me £500 to make it. And like my boyfriend at the time, he's like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, I believed in it. I knew it was good. And they told me they couldn't afford it. So I made it affordable. And I just showed them that I can do something. I just thought of other things I could do. Wasn't enjoying what I was doing. You've just got to put a spin on it. You've just got to think, what can you do? You've got to think on your head. I know it is harder said than done. And I mean, we might be sitting here, people are going to think, oh, like, look at them, they've done it, da, 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 da. It's easy for them to say, but it is doable.
But this is the fucking problem.
That is the problem,
If you're listening, you go, it's easy for those two. Fucking...
You've already got that mindset where you don't want to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to win.
Yeah.
You're one of those people that turns up just to take part.
Yeah.
And for those people, there'll be other people listening going, do you know what? They're fucking right.
Yeah.
I used to knock on doors selling gas and electric for N-Power. I used to have to knock on people's houses. They go, I'm not with N-Power. And I'll be like, exactly. I was switching over people's gas and electric supply, even though they already fucking had gas and electric. Nothing physical happened. It was just a different contract. I was making 2 sales a day. There was a realization in my 20s. I was like, if I can sell gas and electric to people that already have gas and electric, knocking on their door cold in the middle of the day, I can do anything. I could do anything.
I'm Superman.
Yeah. And I joke around about opening like a little jiu-jitsu gym by the beach. Even if my Instagram got deleted, I would just walk around and go door to door every day. Hello, name's James. Got a jiu-jitsu gym down here. First week's free. Got some gis you could borrow.
Yeah.
If you've got kids, we have a kids class at 4 p.m. every day. Cool. Here's a leaflet. See you later.
Yeah.
If I knocked on enough doors, I'd have a full gym.
Yeah.
And I could stop knocking on doors.
Yeah.
And like, people don't have that mentality because you and I both have been very consistent. We've done non-remarkable things for a remarkably long period of time.
Exactly. It's so important to remember as well, because I think a lot of people think things are just given or you're lucky, and I hate it when people say that. Like, it actually bothers me. They're like, oh, you was lucky that lockdown happened, or because it's not fair, because I was working my ass off for years and years and years. As you say, even if it wasn't in the fitness industry, it was doing other things. And I know that I've always had a goal, and like, as we always say, like, we're not going to stop. Like, we're winners, you know? You don't stop if you want to win. And you've always got that mindset, and you need to really like focus on that. So it does bother me when people say, obviously, but you can't let that bother you.
I remember like always using a rugby analogy that when you pass the ball down the line, sometimes there'll be a gap in the defense. So usually a rugby defense will try and evenly spread across the field. So there's no gaps. But if there's a fat boy in the middle who didn't move when he should have moved, there's a bit of an opening that opens. When you see that opening,
Gotta go for it.
Doesn't matter what the play is or anything, you got to go.
Yeah.
But if you don't run full
and you
pelt,
ask for your bloody coach's advice, or you wait until the perfect opportunity,
or you hesitate and you see what's going to happen, that gap closes. But if you run at it, once you've started moving towards it, even if it's no longer there, you've got to go through it. Because if at any point you hesitate, you're going to get chopped. You're going to get fucked.
Yeah.
And
see that leg?
Gone. And people need to have that tenacity in life, because people do lack tenacity. And it's fine if people, some people are quite happy with having a life where they do just work the 9 to 5. Some people, the weird thing is, right, I'm very anti-retirement. I'm very anti-9 to 5. My dad worked 9 to 5. He loves retirement. So if some people, they love it. My parents love it.
Yeah.
But for me,
I can't see myself ever retiring. People always like, oh, you'll be retired in a couple of years. Why the fuck would I want to do that when I enjoy what I do and I like being busy?
Waking up, this sounds bad, waking up with nothing to do is
the worst thing for me.
That's
a couple
depressed.
of weeks ago I wasn't busy and I've made myself busy. See, like I will make myself busy. I don't want to not be busy. For me, that is like brain dead to me. I need to be on the go. I need to have things going. I mean, some people, like, that's the perfect life. I think people would be quite shocked that you said that, because of what you said your goal was earlier. And you said your goal was to obviously wake up, go to the beach. But you can still work alongside of that. What people don't realise is you're still being busy as well. And you'd still like have the goal of going jiu-jitsu and you'd have the gym and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people would just think, oh yeah, his goal is to just earn loads of money, fuck off, retire, fuck off to Sydney and go on the beach.
I still want to work for it.
Exactly.
Like, for me, that utopian thing would be waking up, keep my phone on charge, find my kids if they haven't woken me up already, them and the dog to the beach, chuck them all in. Have a swim with the family, bring them back to the house, get them ready for school, take them to school. Don't touch any electronics till they're at school. Come home, do more work. 10 till 2, cool. Bang, laptop closed. Time with the kids.
Yeah.
Take them skateboarding somewhere. Do something. So I'll always be busy. I'll always be working, always sending emails and trying to sell stuff. And then that's how I want my life to look.
Yeah.
That's why I've been so aggressive with getting productive enough to condense my work into a small space.
Yeah, same.
I'm creating this free time.
I don't like working past 3 o'clock.
No, I ain't got the capacity for it. I need to have like a nap.
Yeah.
I like getting at it first thing in the morning, but yeah, it's about creating that life. Whether or not that life will actually happen, I've set the boundaries quite high. If I feel half short of that, I'm still going to have a pretty good life.
It's going to happen. Thanks for coming in anyway.